jump
We're gonna
off.
start.
I'm
We'll
gonna
come back.
start counting down from 30.
I could play it right
29.
now. I don't
Do
know
it.
which one it is. I could just play it now.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Do it.
There it is. We're here. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
After
Welcome.
that brief intro.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Live.
Jen, you are blurry for some reason. I'm not sure.
I'm blurry.
You're blurry. You're getting less blurry.
You're getting less blurry. You're getting more in focus.
You're good now. You're fine.
Yeah, much better. Yay!
Okay.
Not so blurry, Jen. So I am going to be distracted for a little bit of this, and I'm just going to warn everybody ahead of time because Jerome is not with us today, so I am going to hop into his role and what he normally does when he is here. So before I do that, though, I just want to remind everybody to like, follow, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Do it right now.
And share.
Just subscribe, and then share. Also share all the things, please. And now I'm going to shut up and handle some things on the back end whilst you guys do some talking. Good luck. Have fun. Don't fall.
We are done with controversial coaching. It was a very fun subject. But now we're moving on. It's a new month. It's a new topic of discussion. We are talking about leadership coaching 101. So this is for coaches who want to coach leaders. This is for leaders who want to become coaches. These are just leaders maybe don't want to be coaches, who want to hire a coach maybe. You can get someone else to do that for you. But we're covering the broad spectrum of leadership coaching this month. And today we're talking about, are you a visionary leader? So not just your average run-of-the-mill leader, a visionary leader. So what is a visionary leader, you guys?
This is a good question. I had to look it up.
What did you find?
You're currently looking it up.
Well, yes, exactly. So, I mean, so I think the big thing though is defining the word visionary before we even apply it to leader.
Yeah, because we, in like common, parlance, we just say people are visionaries. Like, oh, that person is a visionary, or they're very visionary. You don't have to be a leader,
right,
to be a visionary.
Right.
And a visionary is.
Are you asking me?
I'm leading towards that, and you just volunteered yourself. It could have been Lisa, but it was you.
Hold on, I'm making sure our phones are on mute, so we do not get a ring on the live.
Call in to 714-609-6370 if you have an answer to what a visionary is.
Oh, that would be good.
Maybe you could tell Jen what it is so she can answer the question.
Okay, so the word visionary by itself. Hang on.
Almost there, folks. We've almost done the research for this. We know what we're doing.
Today was a crazy day. Thinking about or planning for the future with imagination or wisdom. And what's funny is that in quotes, it says a visionary leader. So I guess we typically will then lump the word visionary into leader.
Yeah.
There's also a visionary experience relating to or able to see visions in a dream or a trance. or a supernatural.
We're not talking. That's probably where it came from originally. That idea of being a visionary was like religious experience, but now it's entered the business lexicon to describe a type of leader who envisions the future and then makes it happen some way or reacts to it. And I've seen two different ways that this has been talked about. One is that you can see a trend and predict the future trends off of that, and you're reacting to what's going to happen. So like if I, for example, was a business leader for like a financial institution.
Like Warren Buffett?
Yes, like Warren, let's say I'm Warren Buffett. And I envision that within the next 2 years, there's going to be a collapse in the stock market. So I'm giving advice to sell now, and I'm doing all these financial decisions to sell now so that I can sell now and benefit in the future. And if it happens, then I'm a visionary. The other visionary that I see when we're looking up and discussing this is the type of person who imagines a future or has a vision of a future that they want.
Richard Branson?
She's the guy from Virgin Mobile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or Steve Jobs, I've seen thrown around.
Yeah.
Or Walt Disney. They have a vision for the future.
Elon Musk.
No. Elon Musk can...
You can't take him out of it just because you don't like him.
Totally
Musk can S a D. Anyways, so...
He is so in this. He has some amazing visions, whether you agree with them or not.
He has a lot of money and tells other people what to do. Probably the same as Steve Jobs, though. But anyways, this type of visionary has a future in mind for the world. They have the imagination and probably the tools and resources to achieve it. And then they go on to make that vision happen and real into the real world.
Can't making that vision happen, though, be telling people what to do? I'm just gonna, like that's...
Yeah, I guess so.
Like kind of what a leader does.
Yeah, but you have to have the imagination. You're not just using other people's imagination.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just taking the piss out on Elon Musk right now. Musk, if you're watching this, you will never become a certified life coach.
No, come and be a life coach.
No.
Let's do it.
No.
Come take your class. You're paying in full though, because
I'm envisioning him never taking our classes.
You should, and have all your employees take it as well. Anthony is not a visionary leader, clearly.
No, I have a different vision.
Authoritarian. I can't even say the word.
Authoritarian.
Authoritarian. There's the word.
But those are typically the two types of definitions I see for visionaries. Either you can anticipate the future very well, and then you make decisions based off of that. What you think is going to happen, or you have a very incredible imagination and force of will, and you make your vision come true. Like Walt Disney.
Oh yes, Walt Disney certainly was.
I have some other things to say about Walt Disney.
Well, okay, yes, there are some things, but ultimately, like when you read about like how he got inspired for Disneyland, it was literally watching his kids play. And I think it was they were at like not the Ferris wheel, but what is the thing that goes this way? They were
carousel. A
carousel. And like they were having so much fun, and it was this like perfect picturesque day. And he was like, I want this to exist every day, like for my kids. I want other kids to be able to have this. And like it's just like such a sweet place to start building something like Disneyland. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I love that. And yeah, I would say totally a visionary leader. I mean,
so we would say that he meets the category of a visionary leader, meaning one who sets a long-term vision, creates a strategic plan to achieve that vision, and empowers others to collaborate towards the shared goal.
Wow, Jen, that's a really insightful definition you came up with.
So, like, again, we sort of had a quick conversation, like, oh, okay, we're talking about leaders, and how does this apply to coaching? Especially if we, as coaches, we might or might not be thinking about ourselves as leaders. Maybe in some spaces, a lot of coaches do talk and do speaker groups and things like that, and that would be somewhat of a leadership role. Maybe not. I don't know if being a speaker is still being a leader. I don't know.
I think, though, in a sense, all coaches are leaders because they're leaders of the space that they're holding. I mean, that's how I see it. You know, you don't let the client leads the conversation, but you lead the space, right? You are the one that's setting the safe space. You're setting the tone. You're staying calm and grounded in your energy. The client can do whatever they want. Meanwhile, you are leading where that, that space, the energy of the space, if you will. I mean, you're leading that. Yeah. Because if the client is, dysregulated or, activated, emotional, whatever we want to call it, and the coach is holding the space, the coach is going to lead the client in that moment. The energy of the space is led by the coach, I think.
What are you doing, Brooke? We can hear it.
Oh, sorry.
Opening a package of chips right into your microphone.
Darn it. I didn't think you could. I forgot what I was doing.
God.
Daisy, if you're listening to this, can you please edit that sound out?
Probably listening to this at some point. Okay, so I think that's a great point. So with regard to a coach and being a leader inside the session. So we'll go back to like this concept of visionary leadership outside of coaching. But before we do that, how does somebody be a visionary leader then, and not just a leader in that coaching role?
Yeah, that's
talking about as a coach.
Ask that question one more time. I think I misunderstood.
How do we be a visionary leader as a coach in the coaching session?
I think you need to borrow your client's vision. Then you need to ask into what vision do you have of whatever this coach, like let's say it's a 10-week coaching program. I would ask the client, what is your vision of success in meeting your goal after 10 weeks? What does it look like? And when we ask those kinds of questions, we're getting our clients to use their imagination to envision what that goal looks like when it's achieved. So we're not just asking like, okay, Brooke, what's a goal that you have? Just give me any goal that will take a long time to achieve.
Finishing my rescue diver certification.
Okay. So that's great. And that's maybe like what we would consider like a mission or a goal. But to envision that, I would ask questions such as, well, what does it feel like to be a rescue diver? What does it look like for you to be a rescue diver? These are hypothetical questions, Brooke. You don't have to answer them. But I would ask, what does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it smell like?
What does it mean to you?
So this is your version of being a visionary leader. Is bar, because if you set, you can have your own vision for your business as a coach, but in the relation, we're talking about the relation between myself as a coach and the client. You can't really have your own vision of what the client's goals look like. Yes, but I think I can be a visionary leader in my business by setting ground rules for and like a vision of what my style of coaching is going to be. If it's going to be ICF coaching, if I have a vision of what my brand of coaching is, right? And whatever that might be, and how I want that to go out or play out in my sessions, I think that is being a visionary leader in the space of coaching, because I'm going to set out ground rules for myself. Okay, I'm going to coach. This is how I'm going to coach. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to follow ICF structure. I am not going to follow ICF structure. There are certain ways I'm going to behave, and certain tools I will use, certain things I'm going to do within the bounds of my coaching business. And I'm going to adhere to the vision of this coaching business and what I picture it being, what I vision this coaching business being, and sticking to that rather than just sort of, doing whatever. I think that for me could also be a way to be a visionary leader. So yes, and
I think there's another perspective in addition is when your client is sharing what path and what direction and what their goal is for the session and what they want to talk about, you can partner with them and help them expand that. Somebody who wants to work with survivors of the Titanic. I know I'm making that up. They're not, I don't know. There's one left, maybe. Survivors of the Titanic, and they can see themselves going out and helping other survivors of other shipwrecks. And then they tell you their connection and their value to this working with those survivors. And you can partner with them in that, building their story and imagination based on what they've shared, and expand that and help their imagination grow into a bigger version of what it is they're actually trying to accomplish, getting down to steps. So taking it even from a global perspective down to a more manageable piece even.
By the way, there's no survivors of the Titanic.
Now, okay.
So nobody survived now.
Nobody.
Right, because that happened in the 20s, right?
Oh yeah, long time ago.
So
actually, as of recently, there's been new victims of the Titanic.
Yeah.
Okay, there. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was talking about.
Okay. Moving on. The other part, the other way that we can think about the role of being a visionary leader and why this matters is in the space of executive coaching, in the space of when you are coaching organizations and coaching leaders within organizations. And I think that
managers,
yes. And I think that knowing sort of these tools and traits of what it is to be a visionary leader, which is obviously thought of as a good thing. I think there are good elements in this. Absolutely. And I think that becomes very important when you're trying to coach a group of people to a specific goal that is set by a sponsor. I think that as a coach, it becomes very important for us to be able to coach the leaders and within the organization, as well as the clients within the organization, in a way that can assist in adhering to whatever the vision of that sponsor may be. What are your thoughts there? Yes.
I think anybody in the corporate environment can utilize the skill for different reasons. If they're trying to, let's say HR put out, here's a job opportunity, what's going to allow me to meet the needs of that opportunity? I might need a coach that gets me there, who helps me understand what the language is of that position, what the expectations are, how can I rise and meet those expectations, the work that I need to do. So every level in corporate can use coaching. So yeah, I totally agree.
I would imagine that there's a lot of coaching to be done on keeping people connected to their vision, like as they're doing the day-to-day stuff.
Sure.
That's what I would imagine would have a lot of value for coaches, or for people being coached in those positions, in those leadership positions.
So speaking into this space of creating a vision, creating a mission, identifying those things, how do we do that as clients and as coaches?
Well, it essentially, a long-term vision becomes synonymous with a long-term goal. So instead of SMART goals, we could talk about SMART visions, which they need to be specific, measurable, actionable, timely, and relevant. You have to have, because a vision without any of those things is just any idea that sort of burps out of your brain and you just think, oh, that'd be nice for the future. But
So
until
you're saying the difference is a dream versus actually making it happen.
Yeah, a vision that's well defined and compelling has all those qualities where you know when it is achieved. And potentially the vision keeps evolving because as time goes on, you might sooner than you like, or maybe longer, reach that vision. But then what do you do then? You keep evolving the vision if it's something you want to keep, doing. Um, so yeah, that's how I would qualify. Like, how do you create a vision? It needs to be something more solid than just your daydreams.
Well, I think it can start with that daydream, right? That's like the step one. And that's where this piece of like coaching comes in really handy, honestly. Because us as a coach, they're gonna say, if we have a client that says, the vision is I want to be happy. Well, us as a coach, we're going to start to ask questions about that. Okay, you want to be happy. What does happy mean to you? What does happy look like to you? How does it feel when you are happy? And we start to, I think, do what Anthony is talking about, which is start to bring this concept that is just the dream, just the vision, to a place that is more understandable, tangible, relatable, figure outable.
All the ables.
And I think that's a really, really helpful thing that can come out of being in a coaching space for leaders, for anybody, really, is
inspirational. Because when you help someone work through those processes of what they have that dream and take it down and break it into pieces, that tangible space, it really feels achievable. It really feels like I can get that done. And I really want to, because just hearing it back, I'm getting excited. I was just coaching with someone the other day who, as I was coming back with information that she shared with me, you could visually see her excitement growing within the process.
Jen, what are your thoughts over there?
I'm thinking about like the vision is the bigger picture, it's future oriented, and then the coaching a lot of times is focused on like the next steps. So I'm just thinking about, like, as a coach, we have to connect the dots. Like, we have to make sure that the next steps are aligned with the bigger picture. I'm thinking about sometimes, when I know what my client's vision is, and the next step, sometimes, I can see that it may or may not fully be aligned. I'm sure to ask in those moments, like, questions that kind of help them do that reflection and do that, momentary, like, let me assess that before I just proceed with that. So I'm just thinking about, like, a lot of times I notice clients may sometimes have a goal or a mission that isn't actually aligned with their vision. And so I'm just like doing that job of, like gently nudging them back towards the vision and then checking in and letting them decide if that is fully aligned or not. That's what was coming up for me.
Yeah.
The other thing, so I was just going to ask a question for you guys. I'm just going to ask a random question.
I don't think it's random, but go ahead. I'm ready for anything.
It's not random at all. You're 100% right. Would it be possible for us as coaches, or could we say for us as coaches that with coaching, we could make anybody a visionary leader?
No. You can't make anybody anything as a coach, for one.
Okay.
Two,
It could
I
certainly
don't-
help.
With coaching,
Yeah.
anybody could be a visionary leader. No. Okay, tell me about your nose.
For one, you have to be a leader. And there's people are. I'm trying not to be black and white about this, but I've had enough experience with leadership in my career and different jobs I've had where people seem to gravitate towards a style of leadership that they're comfortable with. So they have to want to be a visionary leader, and maybe they don't know how to, and that's where the coaching can come in to help, progress their goals. But I don't think if somebody has that vision in mind or that imagination, that the coach can develop it on their own. And what mean by that is because there's other types of leaders other than visionary leaders. And maybe it's just not the kind of leader that a person is either capable of or wants to be. And I don't know if coaching alone can bridge that gap. And
I think it could.
I'm being pessimistic. It could, but I don't know.
I think it could take time for that individual who says, I really want to get into leadership. I've never been in leadership. I don't know the difference. I don't know how to proceed, right? That's a learning curve. Someone who can't learn, well, maybe that would be more fitting to your answer. But someone who is willing to learn, who is not knowing, I think could be coached into leadership. Yes.
I think part of it is as well as like being a visionary leader requires a certain amount of imagination. And I'm not exactly sure if imagination as like a quality is something that can be developed as a skill, or if it's like an innate talent that some people just have more of. Like,
I think everybody has an
let's
imagination.
say,
I think everybody has an imagination.
well, I'm thinking of it as something like IQ, where it's like people don't typically, the scientific study shows that people don't typically increase their IQ. They don't do exercises to increase IQ. When you have your IQ, it's kind of a set thing that you have that you got to work with and, deal with. I'm of the opinion that I think quality of imagination is one of those things. I could be wrong. And being a visionary leader requires a certain amount of imagination and skill in bringing that imagination out into the real world. A coach could probably help with somebody who already has that latent ability and tease it out of them and bring it to its full potential. But I think maybe some people might be different kinds of leaders, or as Laura says, maybe they're not really in it to be leaders at all. Strictly speaking, in an organizational sense,
I will
you could
say
be the leader of your own life.
I will say this though, yeah, like that. So that's kind of the point. Is like, yes, absolutely. People have to get out and do the work, right? And not everybody's just going to lead, and but I think if I am a leader, I want everybody on my team to have the ability to take the lead on something, right? Like to whatever their position, whatever their job is, whatever cog they are filling in the overall, machine and project that is happening. That I want them to be able to lead that cog. That's what they're hired for, right? I don't want to have to micromanage and explain every step to them every time, and you know what I mean? I think everybody should have the ability to lead themselves in whatever it is they are doing, and stick to the vision of. And it might be a micro vision, like it might be a small part of the vision that's part of the bigger vision that is, you know what I mean?
So that person could also be thinking that they are following and they are doing those steps to create those independent connections to things, and whose job is it to correct that vision when it's not? It's got to fall on a leader, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, yes. That's hence the hierarchy and things of that nature. But I think that Do I think that it is unrealistic, Laura? Very possibly, yes. I mean, do I experience that on some level? Absolutely. As somebody who takes a lead role and has been sort of a leader of one kind or another for most of my life, I absolutely. But I will say it goes both ways. I think when you get somebody that is passionate about something, you find something they're very good at, something that they love to do, and they get excited about it. That kind of, because I guess it comes down to what is a leader to you, right? Like, what is a leader to you? And for me, a leader to me is somebody that takes initiative. It's yes, I guess a visionary leader would be somebody that sees an overall vision, but I think part of that, seeing that overall vision, means that you also can't be the only one, right? We have to realize it takes a team to get things done. And so I want a team that's capable of leading up the smaller bits and leading it, so that
I think you're seeing this from your perspective as a leader, though. Like, can you imagine other types of leaders who exist out there who don't buy into that?
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. And of course, and I mean, if it works for them, it works for them, I guess. But I mean, I guess for me as a visionary leader, I would like to, if I were a visionary leader, I would imagine I would want to instill that kind of excitement about the vision in the whole team. I think that would be important.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that leads very good into the next topic that I had in mind, is once you have a vision and let's say you're a leader, I guess my first question is, can you be a visionary leader by yourself without anybody buying into your vision? And I'm strictly speaking from, like, I'm leading an organization. I'm leading a group of people and I have a vision, but if nobody buys into it, can that vision be achieved?
No, because you're not a leader then. Who are you leading?
Okay.
Yeah.
So my next question is, what techniques, or I guess what is the best way, is how do you convince other people to buy into your vision?
So and I think this kind of ties into Laura says that growing strengths and talents is not the same as being a leader. And I would completely disagree, because me as a leader, I think it is my job to grow and discover the strengths and talents of my team. Because I feel like if I am able to do that, what is going to happen? My team is just going to get stronger and more capable of achieving the vision. There's schools of thoughts that believe that knowing what your employees' motivations are, like what motivates them, what getting excited, learning those things, and then tailoring what they do to those strengths, creates such a happier employee, a happier human being, and they're more excited to come to work. And so I think that's important. That's part of it, right? That is, the leader is then accountable for empowering for each team member's unique strengths, I would say, or employing a team of people that's capable of doing that. Yes, absolutely. Depending on where we are in the leadership realm.
But I think that getting people to work into their strengths and work into is a leadership concept as well, because they can take the information or the X, whatever X is, and come up with ideas and have supportive ideas that create a bigger vision that gets more done. So while there is the necessity of having someone who has the overall vision, having other people who support that vision can also be leaders.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With underneath that, for sure. But to Laura's point, there are certainly teams that just like to follow, and they follow with their strengths. There's that side of it as well. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, there's a good example of this. One of the first leadership roles I had was being a scenic painting lead. So I was in charge of the scenic painting department for an entire amusement park, and we were in charge of putting up huge events. And I would have a staff that would range from somewhere between 2 and 25 people underneath me at different times. And I knew on my team, what everybody came in the door and was capable of doing, and some people were just really good at rolling black walls, right? And there were times we needed a ton of black walls to be rolled.
She was a painting team, by the way.
Yes. So that gets really boring though, like really boring after a while for some people, just to be doing the same thing, rolling black walls. So I had an employee and he came up to me and he was like, I'd just like to try something different, right? I'd just like to try, because I knew he was really good. And I was like, 100%. Okay. What do you want to do? Let's get you in. Let's get you trying something different. And we got him trying something different. He actually didn't like it. He was like, I'd like to go back to my wheelhouse. I'd like to go back to what I'm good at. I'm not good at that. I like rolling walls. And so, but I listened to him and then I put him back into his strength. But then I had other people that I saw a talent in that they maybe didn't realize they had. And so I would sort of take gambles with them and push them outside of their comfort zone and say, hey, you've got this much space to work in. You've got this much time to work in it. Try it, and I would teach them a bit, but then I let them run with it and see what they do and nurture that creativity. And in most cases, people excelled as long as I gave them the tools and support they needed to excel prior to, right? I'm not going to just throw them in and to the wolves and because then they're going to fail and think they suck at it forever. And that's not to say that the person who was really good at rolling didn't have the tools to do other things. He just found he was way better, more, and felt like he got a lot more done when he was doing the rolling. And the other was just kind of challenging for him. But such a critical part of the team, right? He had to get in there and do everything before anybody could come along and put a texture on that wall and make it look like stone or anything else. So it was very, very important part and the base part. But I think as a leader, it was my job to notice when he was getting bored, to listen when he was getting bored, to switch things up when he could. But ultimately, again, to keep the eye on the vision, which is finishing the project, finishing it on time, things of that nature. So he had the lead though in that first step. It was his job to lead getting that space done. And I would put a person with him. I'd be like, "Okay, you two go finish. It's got to be done by this time." And I didn't tell them how or what. They did what worked for them. And as long as it was finished on time, I was good. So yeah.
I'm wondering, what do we think about, I know we have a very powerful mission here at CLCI, but now I'm starting to think about in terms of vision, and I'm starting to think about, us as visionary leaders potentially in the industry, because we do offer the classes as, one of the most efficient ICF accredited classes available. And that is helping us this isn't a sell. This is true. This is what is going to enroll more people into coaching and get coaching into more places. So I had a conversation with someone today and we were talking about how coaching, if it infiltrates into all of our industries, we will see major amazing things happen. Because when you are, having these conversations where you're not telling people what to do, but rather listening first and then reflecting and helping them bring, out, what's true for them and bringing information to the surface, creating new awareness. Also, just the idea of moving from point A to point B. I mean, having this available in every industry. I mean, what do you think would happen in the world if coaching was everywhere? Like, just if every industry had coaching in it, what would we see?
I have a
can't see
vision
any
for
downfall from that.
Wait, what did Anthony say?
Oh, I said it's a utopia. World hunger would be solved. Universal basic income for everybody. And
You know what's
you can
funny
have a
though?
Democrat for the next president.
So looking at Laura's comment, she's like, not everyone is built to lead or has a genuine desire to lead. And I think if you take the word lead out and you put coach in there, right? Because I think us as coaches, we're trained that our clients they're the leaders of their own lives. They're in charge of that. They are the lead of where that session is going. And it's our job as coaches to essentially not teach, but show our clients that they have the answers, right? And they're capable of discovering the answers.
Mhm.
They're capable of leading themselves towards the goals that they want and need in whatever way they choose to do that. And so to her point where she says not everybody is built or has the genuine desire to lead, I would say that is why kind of some people are ready for coaching and some people are not ready for coaching.
Yeah.
Because we as coaches have had spaces where we have had clients come in or we've been told to work with clients for one reason or another. And we go, this person is just not ready for coaching. They're not coachable right now. They're not, it's not working.
However, most of those times a seed gets planted, and
Mhm.
when they're ready, they come back.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
But I think that that's part of the reason too, Laura, that like I have so much resistance to this concept that people cannot lead. And it's because it's this coach that's built into me, that it's just been so taught to me for so long now that our clients are, and every client that steps in the room has all the answers, is capable, can do what they need to do, and knows how, can figure out a way to lead themselves to whatever it is they want to have.
Mhm.
And so it's I agree though that not everybody is ready for that all the time. Not everybody some people will never be ready for that, and for that kind of I guess freedom. So it's an interesting space to be in, because while we say that yes, coaching could help the whole world, but is every business and the whole world ready for coaching? That's the vision, Jen.
Mm.
That's the vision.
Yeah.
Um,
I still see us as visionary leaders into industry, and I have these conversations with people all the time on the phone. You know, they'll call in so like defeated. They've been talking to so many different schools. They've been getting all this conflicting information. They don't understand how we can do it in 3 days, and other schools want to make it 6, 9 months, a year. They want to charge so much money. How can we do it in the amount that we do it? And it's like, yeah, because we've figured it out. We've figured out how to do it, and then we're trying to get coaching out into the masses, as many people as possible, to be equipped with the ability to have these conversations.
but it's funny, not everybody's ready, right? Not everybody's ready for it. I think we had somebody today that left class because, again, not everybody's ready, right? Not everybody. It was not what they expected, not what they wanted, and that's fine.
What was their name?
No, my expectation was to be given essentially a license, not literally, but figuratively, a license to give advice, to go rescue other people. And frankly, that's not a life coach's business, nor what we're engaged to do, is to go and do therapy services. We're not here as a therapist, and that's the difference, right?
And after sharing that, this kind of brings everything full circle for me. Like, when we're talking about being a visionary leader as a coach, I don't think any client is coming into our session wanting us to be the visionary for their lives. They are all coming to us with some idea of what it is they want. And that is why they're hiring us. We're not there to supply that for them. Instead, we're going to help them figure that out and finesse it. when it comes to executive coaching and group coaching, right, we are given a bit of a vision, but it's that sponsor's vision, that person, that whoever, that is the vision, but they're going to come to us with that vision, and then we're going to take that vision, focus it, and then we'll have all these micro visions that happen underneath we have to work with, right, and figure things out. But at the end of the day, when it comes to coaching, the visionary leader is the client. They are the vision. They're the ones coming to us with the vision, and we are there to help them take that vision and bring it to a place where they're capable of achieving it in whatever way they need to. Do you think that it is a certain kind of person that is looking for coaching? What kind of person does every person who's coming in to be coached, do you think every person has to some degree a leadership quality to them?
I don't think when they come in necessarily because there's some people that come in and don't know what they want to accomplish, and eventually we get there. So eventually it can become that, but I don't think everyone, no.
I can imagine it's just a client who comes in, he's like, I want to be the best follower ever. I don't want to think for myself.
I have those moments. I'll tell you what, though. I have those moments where I go, I just don't want to, I don't want to try. I just want to be told what to do, and I want it to work. Like, I don't want, and I think we have we have those moments with our clients too. I have those moments with my clients all the time where we're getting to those harder moments in our coaching sessions, and we're asking into those harder questions, and yes, maybe when they first come in, they go, I just want you to tell me what to do. But once we break through that barrier of, we're not going to tell you what to do, you've got to come up with the answers yourself. I still will have those moments where my clients will go, I don't know, Brooke, you know, or
I don't want to commit to anything because I don't want to be held accountable.
Where they avoid that sort of answer for many reasons. But I absolutely think what Lisa said, one of the reasons is it's easy to say, I don't know, because then I don't have to figure it out. I don't have to take the lead on fixing it. I can stay right where I'm at. But that's why a coach is, that's what we're there. That's that challenge moment. That's how we challenge our clients to break through the blocks and the barriers that are there. And it gets a little uncomfortable. And I guess that's when we're leading in that session, when we're not letting them get away with the things that they normally get away with. Yeah.
Oh, I like that question, Laura. If you don't know, what do you know? That's great. That's good.
Okay, we're getting towards that time where we should be wrapping up. Their final thoughts.
Yeah. It's funny because I came in and I was tired. It's been a tough day. And then I always feel better. I always feel like, we do our live, we talk it out. Everything's great. Just good. So the live is therapeutic.
Yes. So I have a final thought, but it's not my thought. So I want to preface it by saying that it's shared information that I've received that I thought was really useful for coaching.
For a second, I thought you were going to say it's Cher, like you were quoting Cher.
No, so this, with helping people stay connected to their vision. And this is from, I'll tell you the source is Whitney Johnson. It was on a webinar that I saw, and I wrote this down because I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So if you have an idea of a goal, apparently you have a 10% chance of achieving it. If you make a conscious decision that you're going to do it. So you say it out loud, you declare it, you write it down, you increase that to 25%. You have a 25% chance of doing what you say you're going to do. If you decide when you're going to do it, it goes up to 40%. If you commit to someone else that you're going to do it, it goes up to 65%. And this is where coaching comes in. When you have an accountability appointment set with someone for follow-up, it goes up to 95%. So I thought that was super cool and relevant
skeptic
to
in me is
keeping...
like, where are these percentages coming from?
I know. I was thinking that too. But I thought it was fun.
It has
right?
tremendous value in itself.
She
Like,
has
it has
2 million. She's 2 million followers on LinkedIn. And I hope she knows what she's talking about.
I mean, I think regardless of the percentages, the scientific backing, the stats, there's good value there in what she's saying. Like and I think that we can think of it as each thing she's saying is a step, right?
Right.
So by the time somebody, this is, I think, good for coaches to know.
Right.
By the time a client gets to our office, a lot of steps have been taken. And sometimes our clients need to be reminded of that. Sometimes they forget about that when they get there.
It's the mindset. I think we're encouraging their mindset. If they're wanting to be committed, we're encouraging that mindset towards commitment based on what they share.
Well, I think we have to acknowledge there's been a big shift in them, because now they're doing something. They're spending money to help them achieve something, which is probably maybe something they haven't done yet, or maybe it's something they've done a lot of and they're sick of it, so they're going to spend money on this and see if it gets them anywhere. It can go a lot of ways, but we have to acknowledge that as a coach and it's something to keep in mind. The client has a vision, and they have taken a lot of steps to get them to your session with you, leading up to that. And so there's more knowledge there than probably they give themselves credit for.
Sure.
And more achievement there than they probably give themselves credit for.
Yeah.
As far as this visionary leader concept, I had something smart to say, and I don't remember what it was any longer. So I think what's important to know, and I think there were some really great points brought up here, is that absolutely everybody's role is important, but having that vision is critical. This is what I was going to say. I was just in a meeting with a group of just insanely impressive human beings for a startup business that's going to be happening. And I asked a question in this, because they want to do a lot of things under a single brand. And I was like, are you guys worried about this watering things down, watering the marketing down? Like, every other business does one thing and they do it really well, and you want to do 10 things really well, 15 things really well. And the answer they gave me was there was one vision, one mission, one problem that they were solving. And that as long as it fell within that one problem, so if all of these solutions are presented in the same space, but they're all solving the same problem, then it is still sticking to that vision, that mission. So how important and critical does knowing that vision and mission become at that point? It really becomes the thing that's going to glue together all of those pieces. So I think it's really important to know and have clarity around that vision and that mission. And that comes in coaching. That's why we do a session contract. That's why we circle back to the session contract at the end of it all. Because that becomes the vision and the mission of our session. So maybe I'll start using that. What is the vision for your session? What is this vision? And what is our mission for this session? And it becomes so important to tap into the emotional relevance behind all that too. So don't forget, it's not just seeing the vision, but it's also knowing how important that vision is and how it affects people and you on an emotional level. And that's what's going to really lock the vision in. So done. And Danger is the neediest cat on the planet today. His vision and mission is to get my attention. And
yes,
he's relentless.
He's aggressive today.
That's assertive.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us for today's live. And thank you, Laura, as well, for contributing to the discussion. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment. And if you have a vision to become a life coach, join Certified Life Coach Institute and take our classes, Coaching 101 and Coaching 102. We will see you guys next week for the next topic in Leadership Coaching 101. All right. See you guys later.
Bye.